Hello everyone and welcome back to another Figurehead Reviews video. And today we are taking a look at the Marvel Legends Amazon exclusive 3-pack featuring Psylocke, Nimrod, and Fantomex. Here we have the 3 figures displayed in the front window with all their various accessories, very cool looking 3-pack. On the left side we get some artwork here of Psylocke, looking really cool. On the right hand side we see some artwork of Fantomex, also looking really cool. On the back, we see the artwork there of Psylocke and Fantomex just a little bit closer, and then we do get the artwork for Nimrod. No read-up or anything like that. And this is an Amazon exclusive, so you can just look it up on Amazon. No need for the UPC code. So enough about that. Let's go ahead and get this open and take a look at these 3 figures. And here are 2 of the figures anyway, outside of the packaging. We have here Psylocke and Fantomex. And I'm very happy to get these 2 figures, mostly because, number 1, I don't have a Fantomex figure, so getting the updated version is really cool. I'm happy to get that. But also, we get Psylocke in her Uncanny X-Force outfit, so getting 2 more figures to round out that Uncanny X-Force team is really cool, and I can appreciate Hasbro giving them to us. And for the most part, they're pretty good looking figures. I like the overall design, the paintwork on them. I mean, I have some gripes which we'll go over when we look at the individual figures, but all in all, not too bad. And of course, the big draw to this 3-pack is Nimrod here. And of course, he could have been a Build-A-Figure on a future wave, but instead we got him here in this 3-pack. But he is a very large and imposing looking figure, and we get a lot of uniqueness to the sculpt. I don't think anything on here is reused. Maybe the most part, his little thigh pieces there at his hips. Not the actual thigh, but just like the actual hip joint. But I don't even think that's reused. So we get a very unique figure. However, he is not without his limitations, mostly in the articulation department due to that unique design. So we'll take a look at that in more detail later. And looking at some of the accessories here, starting with Fantomex, we are going to get 2 of these pistols, which are very cool looking. I like that they don't look as sci-fi as some of the guns that we've seen in the past, so I am actually perfectly fine with how these look. And then we are going to get the blast effects that we saw with the Deluxe Black Widow, and those of course can pop right out, so you can have just the empty pistol there without an effect in it, and you do have the opening there in the barrel, which focus. Nope, maybe not. But you get the idea. There we go. And then you are also going to get 2 of these smoke effects. So we get 2 pistols, 2 blast effects, and 2 smoke effects, which is very cool. And then he does have a spot here on his legs for each of the pistols if you'd rather have them holstered. And I will tell you, though, I had kind of a hard time earlier trying to get these in. They fit just fine. It's just kind of, I don't know, it's like a tight fit, I guess, but there we go. You can see that those do go in there without too much trouble, though. Just hard to do it on camera, of course. And then jumping over to Psylocke, we can see her 2 accessories here on display. The first being this little psionic piece, which looks really good. We've seen this before, but we get some shading with it this time. So we get some pink and purple, and I think that is really cool. And then, of course, we have her little psi dagger, psi spear, I don't know what you want to call it, but very cool looking there as well with that translucent and gradient effect that we get with that. And we're going to have a fisted hand there as well that she comes with, but she does also come with an alternate gripping hand. So if you do want to have a gripping hand for holding on to the sword in this hand, you can do that. And the sword is going to carry on that same look that we're seeing with the other accessories, with that gradient going down to purple and pink. Very well done. And you can take this piece off here if you want to, just leaving her with just the bare sword, should you want to do that. But really cool looking. I like that. And looking at the accessories that come with Nimrod here, first we have this pair of open hands, which are going to include the port for the blast effects. And these blast effects are pretty well done, very pink. I like the look on it. And I love, though, the addition of this spiral going around the effect. So it's not using just the generic Iron Man blast effects, and I can appreciate that. This spiral thing is attached, or where is it? It's attached right here. And then it's attached down here at this base as well. In the middle, it's a bit flexible and can move a little bit, but it is going to be attached, so it does not come off from that. You are going to have 2 of those blast effects, and they are going to port into the blast effect hand there without too much trouble. Now, we are also going to get 2 fisted hands here with Nimrod, which look really good. No complaints there, pretty standard. And then we can see here the blast effect, or not the blast effect, but the energy effect on the sides there sticking out. But when we spin it around, we can see a little bit more there of that energy effect coming around with that pink look. And that's pretty cool looking. And it is going to just port in right there, the 2 holes in the back without too much issue. It's just, you get a lot of great detail. But of course, when looking at it from the front, all you can see is just the little edges there sticking out. Now, when standing straight up, Psylocke is coming in at 6 1/8 inches tall, which makes her about 15.6 centimeters, so a good height. And then when standing straight up, we have Fantomex coming in at 6 3/8 inches tall, which makes him about 16.2 centimeters. And finally, we have Nimrod when standing straight up, coming in at 8 inches tall, which makes him about 20.3 centimeters, so a very large figure indeed. But obviously, this is a 3-pack set. We already looked at all the accessories. There's no Build-A-Figures or anything to look at with it. So let's go ahead and just jump in here and get a closer look on all 3 of these figures. And starting first here with Psylocke, we do get a reuse of that original mold for the head, but we do get some new paint applied, and I think it came out looking really good. Paint around the lips looks accurate. I don't really have any complaint on the eyes. They look like they are right where they're supposed to be. Maybe one of the eyebrows, I feel like the right eyebrow is coming in a little too far, that they're not quite aligned where they need to be, but still not too bad. And you can see that that is going to be purple on the eyebrows. Yeah, that's looks like it's definitely misaligned, but not very noticeable. And then we are going to get the purple hair here, and it might be kind of hard to see with some of my lighting that I got going on here with a black backdrop instead of my usual white backdrop. But there is a gradient here where we have some lighter purple at the top, dark purple, kind of goes to light purple again, and then back to dark purple. So looks really, really good. I do like that. Looking at the rest of the figure, it's a standard female body sculpt that we've seen before. It's the same body that was used on the previous Psylocke, with the exception of this little sash here is different. You get a standard X logo painted on it, which came out looking pretty good. Decent looking musculature. The paint on the flesh tones came out not bad, actually. Decently aligned. You do get a little mismatch, like the banding up here, not fully aligning. Looks like it did on this one, though. Yeah, that's not too shabby. But the flesh tones look good, and all in all, not too much of a complaint on this figure. Pretty standard looking, but again, it is that different costume, which is really cool. I am not going to go into the articulation, simply for the sake of time. We've seen the female body sculpt, and in fact, I think I have a video posted of that previous Psylocke figure, so if you want to see the articulation, go check that out. And switching over to Fantomex now, we're going to see a decent looking sculpt here. Of course, there's not too much details necessary when they're wearing a full hood like that. Did notice I got a little splotch there, and I don't think it's coming through, but on his nose there's a little bit of schmutz there too. So yeah, something on there. Looks like the flesh tones around the eyes came out pretty decent. Yeah, no problems there. And then I do like that you can see like the stitching and things like that in the hood that he's wearing. So really cool looking. And then the line work is not bad. I don't see too many issues. Yeah, the line work came out good. I mean, there's not a whole lot going on with the body sculpt. It's going to be a Bucky cap. I always look for those veins there in the shoulder just to make sure that it's a Bucky cap. So, it is an updated figure. Mostly the hip joints. When I looked at pictures, I believe the original Fantomex had a different hip joints going on. So it is nice to see that update. The lines on the coat look pretty good too. Diamond came out looking good. We got a little bit of overlap there. Ever so slight there. So not too bad overall. The X logo came out good. Kind of looks like a cog, C-O-G. They're going around with all those little teeth there around the X logo. That's pretty cool. I like the pockets. We get the holsters that are going to be similar to how Black Widows are attached to the belt, which is fine. That way they don't slide down. But speaking of sliding down, we do get these two pieces here, which we saw with the Jim Lee Cyclops, and you might want to glue those in place because while posing them, they're going to come off. It's gonna happen. So either remove them, pose them, after the fact and put them back on. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll probably glue mine on, figure out where I want them, just get them right aligned with the articulation there and probably glue them. The jacket is not bad. I'm ready for Hasbro to maybe try something different. It's very stiff, makes it a little off balance when you're trying to do stuff. In this case, it does limit some of the articulation, which I'll go over, but his head just can't go back as far as I would like it to because of how stiff the collar is. So at the very least, a softer material to allow a little bit more movement would have been really nice. But I'm just noticing how well the paint here going up does align with the head. So that I can really appreciate that. That looks really cool. So again, just like with Psylocke, I am not going to go over the articulation. It's a Bucky cap. So we've seen all that before. I will say that you get a little bit of a limitation in the articulation because of these cuffs on his arm. So you can't move the elbows as far back as you'd like to. And those cuffs, while they are a separate piece that goes over, as you can see the white there of the arm, it is a separate piece that goes over the forearm, but it is glued in place, so you can't take those off, which I don't know why you'd want to. So I will mention that little bit there for the articulation, and then I guess I'll mention it since those are attached. It can cause some weird things as you move the legs to make those pieces, go other places. And you got a little more stuff there on the figure. So, and then you can see I touched that piece and the leg fell off again, or the leg piece there fell off again. But again, I've done plenty of Bucky cap articulations. Actually, one other thing I did want to mention with him, little bit gummy on the joints. You can see a lot of flex there on the elbow. So I did want to mention that too. I mean, it's nothing too crazy, and you can see it does hold for the most part the shape, but you can see here it's kind of bending down a little bit, but not too bad. And now jumping over to Nimrod here, we start with the head sculpt here that, if I remember correctly from the Fan First Friday, they said that this paint here is based on his appearance during the Powers of X run, and I think I remember them saying that that's what this energy blast, the thing that goes on his back, was supposed to kind of go with that. But we can see that we get a little bit of silver paint there on the inside of the face, and then you get the pink on the outside, and it's more pink in person, but this does have some dark red look to it rather. Now the head is going to be just this big old port there, and then you can swap on his more classic look, which is what I'm going to be displaying him as, I think, more. And we do get that pink face there on the inside. Let me see if I can get the light to maybe try to get the color a little bit more. Yeah, not bad looking at all. I really do like that. And now throughout, you can see we get these lines just painted on the head. Then on the back, I should have mentioned this too, they both have the same paint there to match what's going on with the back as far as that design goes there. And it's pretty cool looking. I mean, it carries on throughout the rest of the sculpt, so that is pretty cool. One thing I will mention, and it was less so on this head sculpt, but more so on this one, the type of plastic used for the head seems to be a better match to the shoulder pads, and I don't think it's going to pick it up. It's almost kind of I don't know, it's the pearlescent, but it's kind of a off-white, I guess is the way to say it. But then we do have those pink lines just throughout the rest of the body there. So nothing too fancy when it comes to the paint. Literally just the stripes. We do get this little, what do you want to call it? I don't remember what it's called here for Nimrod. A little power cell or something like that in his chest. But that's really cool. We get the translucent pink there. You can see that there's stuff going on in the backside. But the sculpt work is really cool. I mean, I do like the design on this guy. They even took the attention to detail on getting something other than just flat feet, so it is really well done. However, there are some limitations. So let's start with the articulation then. So the head, obviously, with this design, does not move. There is no head articulation, which I do understand with this character. So I'm going to give him a pass because I don't really know how you would do it other than maybe if you had the head be one solid piece, or I mean, I guess you could still have it like this, but maybe have a way to like turn the head on the inside. But I mean, that's really, I'm not surprised we didn't get something like that. The shoulder pads are going to be attached up here. Now, we do actually get, I don't really want to call it a butterfly joint because it doesn't really seem to move, but you can see how there's that extra piece there on the shoulder. I think that really is the piece that this is attached to. I thought it was a butterfly joint at first, but you can kind of see it goes straight in. So I think it's just literally a piece that goes around the joint, and then that's what gives us the shoulder pad, because if I remember correctly, well, maybe not, that you could move the shoulder pads independently. But you do have full rotation there, which is cool, so it's not attached to the shoulder. And then it does have some flexibility to bring the arms up quite a ways. You do have a bicep swivel, a big single jointed and very stiff elbow, and then you are going to have rotation and hinges on all the hands. But one of the downsides and one of the complaints that I have with the blast effect hands here, if I can get his arm straight again, is that it's going to be a bit of a struggle to get those blast effects to go straight out unless you kind of bring it, the arm up quite a ways. Now, in one of the earlier shots that I had with the 360, I basically have the peg barely in there, and that allowed me to get a more straight back. So I just wish this peg was a little bit longer, or this was a little bit more shallow, or something so that we could get the hands to be further back when using the blast effects. He is going to have this diaphragm joint in the middle. Now, if you have the Hulkbuster Build-A-Figure, you're going to know what I'm talking about in this next piece. But this, you can see, very much springing back over. And I feel like when I'm turning this joint that I am stressing what I assume is probably like a dumbbell piece that's in there. I kind of turned it and forced it a bit, and I could get it to hold, but man, I feel like I'm torquing a piece of plastic in here, and I'm honestly afraid that I'm going to literally twist him in half. He does get some crunch a little bit forward and a little bit backwards, a little bit of side-to-side action, but man, I really wish this left and right was just better. And I mean, look at that. Like, I'm clearly not moving a ball joint. I am clearly torquing a piece of plastic there. So that concerns me, and I wish it wasn't such a tight joint so that we had a bit more movement in there without fear of breaking the figure. I might try to heat it up. I can't really see in there, but I might try to heat that up and see if I can move it that way. The legs are going to kick forward, not really very far at all. You're going to have this hard piece here that pretty much prevents that. So that is a bummer. Doesn't go back at all. You do have rotation right here, though, on an upper thigh cut. You're going to have a double jointed knee that actually goes pretty deep there. So that's pretty crazy. And then he does have, boy, does it have forward and backwards? Yeah, it looks like it does. But you do get some ankle pivot with that as well. But overall, the articulation on this guy feels very stiff throughout, and that's probably my biggest critique on him is he's going to be a very stiff-looking character on display. A lot of just arms straight out, looking straight ahead kind of poses, I think. And that is going to do it for this review, everyone. So overall, I think that the set, I'm borderline don't want to say that it's worth it just because of some of the articulation flaws here with Nimrod. However, this is a Build-A-Figure quality figure, which most Build-A-Figures usually sell between $40 and $60 for some of the less desirable ones, and of course well over $100 for the more desirable ones. So with an entire set here at, I want to say it was, what, $80 on Amazon? That's not bad. You're getting two 6-inch figures and a Build-A-Figure quality deluxe figure, so yeah, I think it's worth getting, and Nimrod, of course, is a classic X-Men villain, and very much worth having in the set. And then, of course, we get the updated X-Force looks here for Psylocke and Fantomex. So, anyways, as I said, that is it for this review. If you like this review, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more content just like this, and as always, thanks for watching my videos, and have a great day.